patient, because as we have seen, most of the bites are of non-poisonous nature, or even a poisonous snake can have a dry bite. So patient should not be apprehensive. Just reassure the patient and the relatives. Second most important is the immobilization of the limb. If the limb is made to be mobile, it will only aid to the spread of the poison at a faster rate. A splint is recommended over the one joint above the level of bite to immobilize the limb. Then we have to get additional help. Often transporting a patient to the hospital by one finder who has found the victim on the spot is not enough. Hospitalize the patient obviously. And finally, you have to tell the treating physicians whatever knowledge has been gathered at the site about the nature of the bite, what all features the victim has showed, and whatever the duration at the time of presentation. Now, in hospital management, once again there is a synonym for it. So first, assure and maintain the airway, breathing, respiratory response and all, because respiratory paralysis is one condition that can kill the patient at a very short time in case of neurotoxins. Then circulatory management has to be done. Then any associated nervous system disorders has to be treated, and expose the part and examine. And sometimes the fang marks are not that prominent, so theoretically application of betadine do help to identify the marks better. And like this, the fang marks can be identified. Now the ASV monovalent is basically confined only in United States. Again, not very cost effective, and studies have showed the anaphylactic reaction. The chances of anaphylaxis is almost equivalent in monovalent as well as in polyvalent. So there is not much added advantage. In India, we use a polyvalent vial where the toxin is against cobra, common krait, saw-scaled viper and Russell viper. This is what is supplied. So we have seen the NS is supplied along with the vial, which has to be reconstituted. Now, ASV is given only if the patient is symptomatic. The criteria of giving ASV will be discussed. In asymptomatic cases, it is prudent to observe for 24 hours initially. However, it should be kept in mind, if at all ASV has to be started, it is to be best started within the first 4 hours of bite. This is because ASV cannot act once the venom has already bind to the target site. ASV is only to neutralize that part of venom which is still freely circulating in the body. So 4 hours is the ideal time. Initially 20 vials, up to 20 vials can go, and it has to be repeated at the rate of 5 vials for every 12 hours until the symptoms persist. So some of the rationale that the physician should keep in mind while giving ASV. First of all, it is a resource limited entity. Secondly, if there is no definite signs, then it is prudent to just wait and watch under obviously close observation. And third, what we have already seen, it can act only to the unbound form of the venom. Once it is bound, it cannot be of much help. And finally, anaphylaxis, just like any other your IgG preparations, anaphylaxis is one of the features in this. So even that has to be kept in mind. So what are the clear-cut indications to give ASV? First, in case of hematotoxic type of poisons, a spontaneous systemic bleeding, a 20-minute whole blood clotting test which shows positive. There are features of coagulopathy as seen by laboratory investigations, and also thrombocytopenia. Now it is important to see, as we will come later, this patient at the time of presentation did have 2 lakh platelets, but subsequently it reduced. In case of neurotoxins, ptosis is the first clinical manifestation that can be detected. Of course, patient will also have ophthalmoplegia, and if the venom is allowed to spread further, it will finally affect the respiratory muscles and cause respiratory distress. And in case of systemic envenoming, there will be evidence of coagulopathy, there will be also evidence of neurotoxicity, certain cardiovascular abnormalities, and finally, persistent and severe vomiting or abdominal pain is also one of the often ignored but important indication to start ASV. Now, what are the local indications? Just remember, a pure local swelling accompanied at the site of bite mark is not an indication for ASV. If the swelling is associated with severe pain and it is increasing and already involved half of the limb, or it has crossed one joint, in place of absence of tourniquet, sometimes, especially in rural setup, we find very tight tourniquets bound to the site of the or the affected limb and brought. So that tourniquet itself can cause increased swelling. So that has to be kept in mind. So any such features, start ASV. Now studies have shown that giving a sensitization dose of ASV is not of much importance, because initial dose the patient may not be sensitive to ASV, subsequently he may develop sensitivity. And also some studies have shown that initially giving a sensitization dose can actually trigger an anaphylaxis reaction when a larger loading dose is given subsequently. ASV is given in two ways. Firstly, intravenous injection, which is reconstituted 2 ml over 10 ml of normal saline, or it can be given at the rate of infusion 5 to 10 ml per kg body weight of isotonic saline. Sometimes if patient develops hypoglycemic features, glucose can also be added. Now this is one of the frequent problems, especially in Indian setup. Patients who arrive late. So what happens is, firstly we have to assess whether there is any features of current venom activity. Once again, we should recall that venom can be neutralized, it cannot be unattached. So a 20 minutes whole blood clotting test has to be performed if toxin is suspected. In case of neurotoxins, we have to see signs of ptosis, respiratory failure, and etc. Now in case of neurotoxins, especially of post-synaptic nature, as we have seen in case of cobra bite, neostigmine is useful. 1.5 to 2 milligram of neostigmine given intramuscular, important not IV, together with 0.6 milligram of atropine. This is IV. In pediatric conditions, it is 0.04 milligram per kg body weight, and atropine is given at a dose of 0.05 milligram per kg body weight. After this, observe the patient for 1 hour, and whether we need to repeat the dose or not can be assessed based on single breath count test, or the level of ptosis, or the post-expiratory volume at the end of first second, or other pulmonary function test, if at all it is available. Now, as we can see, a case of ptosis after getting neostigmine and atropine do show significant improvement. Now, during the recovery phase, what is expected is the bleeding to stop by a span of half an hour. Blood clotting should get restored. In case of post-toxic synaptic neurotoxins like in cobra bite, ptosis and other features should start improving. In case of pre-synaptic toxins, symptoms do improve, but they take a longer time. In case of active hemolysis or rhabdomyolysis, proper care should be taken to treat any renal failure, and renal replacement therapy should be started as early as possible. In case the patient is going in shock, sufficient fluid replacement should be initiated. Now, whether envenomation should be given again or not is to be decided by the type of antiseptic venom that we are using. In India, what we use is the AB2 type of AF products, which has a half-life of over 90 hours, and therefore prophylactically another dose of venom, this anti-venom, is not recommended. Anti-hemostatic maximum ASV dose guidance. So in the normal guidelines that are administered over every 6 hours until coagulation has been restored. You can go up to maximum of 30 vials in these cases. Now, prevention of ASV reactions. So once we have seen that trying for a test dose is not of much use. In case during the infusion of ASV any reactions takes place, again hydrocortisone, our 100 milligram of chlorpheniramine and other drugs have been given. Alkyl is also effective in these cases. In children, the doses are usually 1/5 of the adult dose. That this is a rough guideline. Properly, if we want to assess, it is 0.1 to 0.3 milligram per kg body weight. And if the person is non-sensitivity to ASV, then also ASV has to be given. We cannot ignore it. But pre-medication with adrenaline, hydrocortisone, and antihistaminic has to be given first. Now, what are the indications for surgical intervention? So, pain on the passive stretching